All right, time for a new filament. Another FilaCube White. We've used a lot of this stuff. It prints really well. It's made in America, so like that. But you never know with a new color. In fact, this is the absence of color. Since it's white, how it's going to react. So we're going to do the regular test as usual, just to characterize it and do one fun print. Then at the end, I'll show you what I'm using it for on my Etsy store. So as always, the FilaCube has super great vacuum seal. Hear that sound? That's a good sound. Get this open. See a nice bright white color. And it comes with a desiccant packet as usual. We'll add this to our dry box for extra buffering. So there is some, with the printer comes this white PLA filament. It's not really that great. It's very stiff. Whereas the FilaCube is more supple, prints smoother. And it's also kind of gritty. But this is okay for doing prototypes. I've used prototypes for this. So this is a good, it's included with the price of the printer, so you may as well use it for prototyping. But I'm not going to use it for any products that I use it day to day or try to sell to anybody. So, all right, so let's check to see if we got our money's worth as usual. So because we've used a lot of FilaCube, I've saved an empty reel. So we turn this on, and this will calibrate it to 0 with this extra weight on it. So when we put this on, it should tell us the net weight. So it's just over 1 kilogram, which is fine, 104. Usually we get about 20 to 50 extra grams, but that's okay. they met their requirements, so you can't argue with that. All right, so we'll put this on the printer, doing a temperature tower and the bed adhesion and layer adhesion cracking test. Then we'll do our fun print, and then again at the end I'll show you what I'm going to use it for on my Etsy store. All right, so we're ready to do our temperature tower. So this is a open SCAD project I'll have a link in the show notes to. This is one that I modified and uploaded because I added the type of filament here as a label on the tower. So we've been printing everything around all of our PLA around 225, but we're going to go ahead and check these various temperatures anyway. So to use this file, you just change the starting and ending temperature here, and the temperature step and the filament label up to 3 characters will fit. And then it'll automatically generate this file. So we just use the I for, what does I mean anyway? Render. Okay, it's got a, it's not an I, it's got a hourglass. Okay, so there it is, it rendered it. Then we save as STL file. And then we put it, we load it into Simplify 3D. So let's go to that program. So here we are in Simplify 3D. I just imported it in as an STL file. I'm just going to use this FilaCube STL version. I already imported it, so. And then we've got our profile here. So this is the profile we had for the Ironi. So we're going to save it as new and call it, make it a little shorter. FilaCube White. So everything is standard here except when we get to the temperature. So we've been using all our PLA at 40-degree bed temperature. That's been working great for us. All different kinds of projects we're making, big and small. It gives good adhesion but not too much. But the tricky part here is the temperature tower. So you want to have the temperature changing as you go up through this tower. So that's one of the beauties of Simplify 3D is that it allows you to put in this different temperatures at different layers of the model. So we're going to start at 230. That's the base. Yeah, okay. And then up through layer 18 is where the first bridge starts, this first little section here. And then every 35 layers is another bridge, and other parts of each temperature. So we just put in the temperatures we want. Again, we're starting always at the highest temperature because sometimes certain filaments will clog if the temperature is too low. So we don't want to start out with a clogged nozzle at the beginning. So we start at the highest temperature, which should print fine. Then we slowly go down to lower temperatures. And this is all set up. You can just copy this if you use this project. And then we'll prepare to print. It takes about 55 minutes. And we'll put this on an SD card, and we will put it in the printer and see how it goes. Okay, we put in the SD card, we loaded up we started it up, and we started preheating. So we went 240 on the bed and 40 degrees on the bed temperature and 230 on the nozzle. So we're going to load this up. This is my new side loader. I'm not sure when this video is going to get posted, but it should be posted after the side loader video. So this is super nice. It spins super easily, as you can see, and it's easy to use. You just lay it on here. Much simpler than what the system I was using before. So these reels are too big, basically, to fit inside of it. Some of the narrower ones can barely fit, but the printhead gets awful close to this plastic reel here, so I'm not really comfortable with that. So it's much simpler to just use a side loader for everything. So I never use the internal reel holder anymore. So again, I've mentioned this before, but the trick to making sure your filament doesn't get tangled is never let go of this end of this filament here. Just hold on to it, and you won't have to worry about getting tangled. So we cut off this bench part, and we've got a little Teflon tube like this one in the side of the printer here, so it'll go in smoothly. At the top. All right, so then we run it up through the guide tube in the back. Still preheating. The bed is heated up. It's heating up the nozzle right now. I want to show you one other thing I did just recently. I lost. You'll see where I put this in a minute here, but I lost one of these down in the little holes that are in the bottom of this printer. So I just put blue painter's tape on it. So little small parts and stuff you're printing, or little accessory things like this, won't fall down in the hole and go underneath the machine. It's still inside the machine. I could take the base off and get it out, but that's too much of a pain right now. I'll find it eventually when I take the bottom off. In any case, put some blue painter's tape on all the holes inside the printer, and you'll be happier than I was this morning. So, okay, so it's just about heated up. We're going to do a leveling first, and I've been using these index cards. Seems to give good results for me. It does come with this plastic card for figuring out how to set the gap between the printhead and the print bed, but this is plastic, and you're putting it up against 220 degree or 225 degrees centigrade nozzle. It gets all melted, so I stopped using this. This is the new one. This is the second one I've had, so this is easily replaceable, and it'll handle getting filament on it. Here's the one with a little bit of filament on it, so it does get creased. You can see some creases here, but overall it's a much better system than trying to use this thing, in my experience. It's a little bit thicker than this, so it's easier to adjust. All right, so we're up to temperature, so now we're going to hit the level button. Alright, so that's too tight, so we got to loosen that up. We got to counterclockwise to loosen it up. Too loose. Too tight. There, okay. So it's an iterative process. Go back. There is some hysteresis in these adjustments, so it's not super precise. It's not like a stepper motor or something. I'm sure in the really fancy 3D printers they have stepper motors to adjust these. But this is a $400 printer. So far it's working great for me, so I like it. So you do the 3 points along the edges and then one in the middle, just to kind of confirm that you got good gap there. So there's some resistance, but not too much. So, all right, so we'll start this up. We'll go ahead and load the filament. Then I switch to manual and lower the print bed. So there's some room for filament to come out. And I'm going to use this before I stick it in the top of the printer, the print head, because it'll help keep the filament going upright into the top of the print head and avoid erosion around this hole. So that's the theory anyway. All right, and then we just hit load filament. And we did have that prototype filament in here, which was white. So following white is not too problematic. You don't have to spend a lot of filament cleaning out the old color. So it should just clean out the old filament and come out white right away. So that looks pretty good. So we'll stop that. We'll use our tweezers, 10-inch long metal tweezers. There's a link to these. These are one of the best investments I made, so there's a link to these in the show notes. You can use that. And then we're going to switch over to the video, to the time lapse, and get this print started. Okay, let's see how it turned out. Let's move it up a little bit. One string coming from the last point, which is fine. Pretty typical. Alright, let's see how our bed adhesion was. Bed adhesion is good. Nice solid, the bottom is clean. Look at these towers. So all the towers look pretty good. 220 is probably the best. Oh, 215. Yeah. 15 is pretty good, but the pointer is a little bit blobby, so 220 is probably the best. But actually 230 looks pretty good too. So I think we're going to stick with 225. That's what we've been printing with, but it looks to me like anything from 220 to 230 would print fine. Actually down to 210. Well, the pointer on 210, the pointer starts to deteriorate over here when you get to the lower temperatures. Just can't extrude cleanly to make that sharp point. So sharpest point is actually, on 220 and 230. 225 has a little bit of stringing, so does 230. So anyway, back looks okay. 20 to 40 degree bed temperature, 225 like we did before. So next up is the bed and layer adhesion and cracking test. I'll show you that on the computer, and then we'll come back and do the time lapse.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is Beta Cygni signing out, and keep looking up.